What's up guys, xHOUNDISHx here, and today I wanted to talk about The Division. I know it's been quite a while, so with the release of the Underground DLC, I just wanted to jump in and see what it's all about, and take the opportunity to ask you guys, do you still actually play The Division? Have you tried this expansion out? I want to kind of break down, what it's all about and everything like that. But of course, a lot of people went away from The Division pretty quickly, and I wanted to talk briefly about that as well as kind of go over how they've improved the game, because honestly, recently, it's actually made me want to jump back into it. There's some pretty cool stuff been going on. So of course, throughout the Division betas and the launch, it was a pretty exciting game, and it was and still is really a super immersive game from my perspective. The atmosphere in the Division is, really cool, and it's one of the things that, makes me want to play the game. But when the game launched, it was, definitely exciting for the loot grind and everything like that, but it became pretty tiresome, pretty fast, and felt very repetitive in a way, kind of too repetitive, and there were a lot of technical issues, and the Dark Zone could be pretty frustrating considering that it was the only real end game mode for quite some time in the game. But a lot of this stuff has actually been vastly improved. We have the addition of high value targets, the 3 incursions, and a lot of quality of life stuff which the game really needed. And now we have the Underground DLC, of course. So this has actually brought some really cool elements to the game. So the expansion is based on the rising threat of the enemy factions which are utilising New York's vast undergrounds, and essentially you're going to be tasked to clear them out through the new underground operations, and of course the incursion as well. And the underground operations are a pretty cool kind of bridge between, I guess, strike type content that you'd see in Destiny and the incursions themselves. And you can unlock a new terminal area in the base of operations which leads down to the operations dispatch area in the underground. And I really like the atmosphere here as well that they've added. It's an even more kind of sinister layer to the Division, which is nice. And with the operations, you start out with fairly easy ones, but as you earn your underground rank, you can unlock more difficult versions and modifiers. And there's some pretty fun mechanics as well in there. They can be super challenging if you want, and if your entire team dies, you have to start from the beginning. And in some of those challenging modes, it can be pretty crippling, but the loot these days in the Division is much better than when the game launched. You've got multiple new gear sets, some of which were from the previous updates and some that have come with the Underground, but they're all pretty awesome. There are some cool bonuses that you can unlock as well from having multiple armor pieces from the same set. And then you've got things like assignments as well that you can track for more rewards, like daily and weekly stuff, plus operation specific assignments. And you can also get an Underground cache, which is kind of like when you level up, which drops you new gear and everything like that, which is pretty epic. And the loot is flowing really nicely. It's cool to be able to pick up some of the gear sets, and it feels like everything is pretty kind of high quality. And they've bumped up the levels as well of all of the other activities in the game, so you can kind of run any of the content, the old incursions, Dark Zone, high value targets, and it's still relevant, which is great because there's quite a lot that you can actually do in the Division now, and anything that you're playing will give your character some kind of development, which is nice, especially for us that have played a lot of Destiny. Sometimes it feels like they're not really utilising all of the content in the game, so the Division is definitely doing that right. The one thing I'll say is that you'll probably want a team to run this content. You can matchmake and everything still, which is useful, but if you want to get into the more of the kind of hardcore incursion type content, then you're going to want as much coordination as you can get. Really, overall with this expansion and all of the updates and additions since launch, it's actually a much more fleshed out and fun game than it used to be. For me, back in the day, I hit Dark Zone rank 50 a few weeks before the first update, and then just kind of grew tired of the game, not feeling like there was much reason to play it. And I feel like that's the case for a lot of people, but I can certainly say, if you liked the game from the start and you enjoyed the gear, but kind of just found that you got bored or frustrated, then this is definitely a pretty good time to come back and take a look at the Division, man. I'm not kind of, trying to promote the game or anything. I'm just saying that it's gone from, something that ended up being kind of disappointing into something that's pretty good, which is, of course, to a degree, we had that with Destiny. I've always absolutely loved that game. I'm not going to say anything bad about it, but of course there was a lot of stuff that needed to be improved and everything like that. So it's cool that the Division is kind of solving some of those issues. And what do you guys think? Are you going to jump back into the Division? Does the new content kind of tempt you at all, or did you ever stop playing in the first place? Or I know a lot of people that are kind of they enjoyed the game, but regardless of what happens now, they're just kind of totally done with it. I'll certainly jump in and cover some of the major updates as time goes by, especially if you guys are interested. So let me know down below if you have any interest in the Division. But I highly recommend that you go check out the Underground DLC. There's a lot of awesome stuff, and I'm looking forward to jumping back in and doing a bit more of it. So there you go, guys. I just wanted to go over the Division, how it's changed, and ask you guys what you feel about it. If you've enjoyed the video, a like is always appreciated, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit subscribe for a lot more content. But for now, you guys have an awesome day.